We're about a month late, but I never showed you my birthday book haul. I did actually get some books on my birthday this year. And then there's some other things that actually arrived before my birthday, and I've kept being like, okay, I'll put that in like the June wrap up or the this, and that didn't happen. Didn't happen. So today, as you probably saw from the thumbnail, we have some books that I bought on my birthday and a little bit after my birthday, and also some boxes. One of them came in May. The other one I think was June, but I don't entirely remember. And one finally showed up just a few days ago, even though it was supposed to be shipping out in July as well, but my box finally came this month. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, hello. I hope that you enjoy some pretty books. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts on them. If you loved them, thought they weren't worth it. I mean, I'm excited for some of these, so I really hope so. Others, I mean, no, okay. I can't say I have read the others, except for like one. Yeah, I've read one, and one of the series I've read. Two of the series I've read. I don't know how many fingers are going up. Let's start with the boxes, because technically they came in before my birthday. The first would be one that you've probably seen people open already, and that's the Owlcrate May Sci-Fi Quarterly Box. This is the first one that they ever did, and so I wanted to try it, and also because the book had sounded super interesting when it came out. It's actually on my anticipated May releases. This feels thicker than I was expecting. Oh, I like the cover. Their cover edition is Overgrowth by Myra Grant. Since she was 3 years old, Anastasia Miller has been telling anyone who would listen that she's an alien disguised as a human being, and that the armada that left her on Earth is coming for her. Since she was 3 years old, no one has been willing to listen. Now, with an alien signal from the stars being broadcast around the world, humanity is finally starting to realize that we've already been warned, and it may be too late. The invasion is coming. Stasia's biological family is on the way to bring her home, and the very few family reunions are willing to cross the gulf of space for just one misplaced child. What happens when you know what's coming and just refuse to listen? Then we have the Broken Bindings sci-fi sub for the May one. Then that was that they packaged it as a standalone for their subscription. Like sometimes they'll say, okay, of a trilogy like that one, or the current one is a duology. This one they said it was a standalone, though when I looked it up, technically there is a secondary book. Of course it has the sticker saying which one it is, but we don't need that. She's covered in blood. Oh my gosh. I remembered kind of the look of the cover, but Doomsday Book by Connie Willis. And our main character on the cover there is covered in blood. For Kevin Engel, preparing an on-site study of one of the deadliest eras in human history was as simple as receiving inoculations against the diseases of the 14th century and inventing a bulletproof backstory. But a crisis strangely linking past and future strands Kevin in a bygone age as her fellows try desperately to rescue her. But I'm confused by what I just saw at the end. Don't look at that. Don't look at the end of the book. So very interesting sounding. Oh look, more stuff. Even though I got this one later, let's just finish off the boxes. We're just gonna finish off the boxes now. The quote for this box: "Art is about emotion, examination, and going places people have never gone before to discover and investigate new things." Wit. So after the end of the last book, you know, me and wit. Not on great terms. And of course, Secret Project Book 5 is The Isles of Emberdark by Brandon Sanderson. Illustrations by Esther Hilandi Chandari. I know I said all of that wrong. I'm very sorry. With the all black edges, it does make me super nervous. And I'm glad though that I have also the ebook, so I don't have to physically read it and get black all over my fingers. I don't know. I haven't watched anything about it or read anything about it really. Oh my gosh, you probably can't tell. It's a bird, possibly. Probably not a parrot. This one's probably not a parrot with the snake wrapping around behind it like that. Sixth of Dusk. I have not read that story yet, so. Oh, do I need to read that story before I read this one? I guess I should look that one up. Character pin, and it says Sixth of Dusk. This is different. Okay, most of the bookmarks that came with the other books had the same picture on both sides. So it was just like one side was like zoomed in. This one though is different. Now I need to research if I can read this one or if I need to read a different book to be able to understand this one. Author's note, a decade ago I wrote a novella that just would not leave me alone. The story of a man, his birds, and the inevitable tide of progress. As I thought about the novella, I realized there was so much more here, a novel I needed to tell someday, picking up sometime after the novella ended. As can be expected from its origin, Isles of Emberdark leans upon and requires understanding of the novella Sixth of Dusk. Okay, yeah, I have to read that. Maybe we spent a little bit too much time on the box opening. The camera said that took 20 minutes, and I know I could edit out the actual loud parts of the physically opening, but still. I won't read the description of all of these. I'll read parts of it, like not the full one, because I'm not showing off especially pretty parts of the books normally. Like with the boxes, they're prettier. They need more showing off. Books I got for my birthday. First one up would be the Prime Day books. I'm like, ooh, well this is on my list. And you know, it's right after my birthday. I deserve a book. First one is James J. Butcher's Long Past Dues. This is the second in the Unorthodox Chronicles following Dead Man's Hand, which was just such a blast to read. I loved following Grimshaw, Grimsby in his pursuit of things and figuring out what went wrong with his magic, which we didn't fully get to understand how it went broken, why he can't control his magic like most of the magicians in this world. So this is an urban fantasy setting where it's set in Boston, and they have a magical, unorthodox affairs. It's like their police and everything, and they work with overseeing magical regulations and the population and stuff. And in the first book, his mentor was killed, and he was the prime suspect. So he had to work with her ex-partner, who actually really believed he did it and, you know, came to kill him first, to figure out who really killed her and what really happened. And their dynamic was fun as well. So the sequel to this one, the third one is also already out, so I really need to catch up with this series. Would really like to, hopefully this fall, catch up and figure out what's going on his new case. Though the only thing is I have the hardback of the first one, and now I have the paperback of that one, and I did that too myself. And then one that I really want to get to. Everybody loved it. Everybody was like 5 stars. This book is awesome. And that would be The Will of the Many by James Islington, book 1 in the hierarchy. What is this though? I don't even know what to do about it because it's attached. It's the cutting. How did the cutting of the pages happen like this in the printing? I'm afraid to cut it off myself, but then I know it could bend and ruin the whole page. So I don't know what to do with this. I don't. The Continuing Republic, the hierarchy, may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Vis Telemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their most prestigious school. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leashed away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. I tell them that I belong, and they believe me. But obviously he is not. Obviously he is an infiltrator. And I know a lot of people did not like the new cover design. They preferred the other one. But this is epic. This is really cool. I like this cover design too. The other one was much simpler. This one looks a lot like that other book that came out last year though. Another chunky book that I got that's also, I think, the first in a series, though I don't remember this. Oh, the Eternal Path Trilogy. It's The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hutchinson. And I think I've heard mixed things about this one from not very many people have been talking about it yet though. says, let us fly now to the empire of Orun, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Burson the Brusque has come to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, and strategists compete to replace him. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima Kara, the emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar, to find the killer and fight for the throne. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. Okay, so that was most of the description for this one. There's only like a few lines left. But this one sounds really cool. And either another competition setting / mysteries. And the last book is one that, I've read more than once. I've just accepted that I'm not going to own the whole series in the same format probably. Like, I will never be able to get all of them in this format. They don't make those covers except with the stupid sticker. Though now that the show's gone, hopefully in a year or so, the stupid sticker will no longer be printed on the books. So I got the 30th edition of Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, the first in the Wheel of Time series. One of my favoriteest fantasy series ever. That's super epic and amazing, and at least to me. Okay, I know some people consider it too long. Some people just don't like the way he does certain things. But I find the epic scope of the world, the magic system, the hidden history, the world building, it's great. I loves it. I will maybe one day own all of them in hardback. Who can say? Okay, and a few days after that, I was allowed to actually go to the bookstore. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't know I'd bought those already. But I was very good, and I only got 3 books. First one up is another sequel to a series that I've started, and that would be The Hemlock Queen by Hannah Witten. This is the second book in the Nightshade Crown trilogy, following the Foxglove King, which I debate if I need to reread before this one. Do I fully remember what happened? I mean, yes, but also I seriously never got the love triangle vibes that everyone else talked about in that book. I thought she was definitely into the one dude. The other guy kind of flirted with her, but she didn't actually seem interested in him. Yes, I know what the titles are, so it's like, they're trying to play that, but I don't know anymore. In this one though, we're following a main character who can control death, and that's a forbidden power, and so she can't leave this area she's in, but she can't let the monarchy find out about her. But of course they do when she raises a horse, funny enough, and instead of putting her to death, the king asks her to figure out why villages in the outskirts of the kingdom are just dying. Like everyone in the village died mysteriously, randomly, and it's happened more than once. What's really cool though about it is the gods that they mentioned that were there, they're not there. They still worship these gods, but what happened to them? And not just the big gods. There was a pantheon of others before these 2 main gods that they worship. And it's hinted at, so it's like those are things that maybe we'll find out. Yes, it's a romantasy, so will we lean into that? Probably not, but I'm still interested enough to find out what's going to continue on with this series, how the world is going to shape up, because things are changing in the world. Things are shaking up. Then a new series to start that I keep wanting to get to, that's a completed trilogy now, right? Yeah, I think it's just a trilogy. 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland, that I've heard great things about. It says, let the best liar win on the back. But this one actually is a pretty edition too. It's the season for treason. The king of Yasun must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless, immortal hand, the nobles flourish while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. Now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. I would really like to get to this one, because everybody seems to have so much fun with this series. So, I don't know when. I will. None of my magical readathon prompts, I don't think, call for something with a number. That's sad, which you're still thinking about those. How am I going to work that? And actually, I might use a scroll to try to do it with as few books as possible, because time. Then the last book that I debated, I put it down, I picked it up, I debated, I double checked, because it had been on sale on Kindle and I probably missed out on that opportunity. But it's so chunky that it probably would have also been hard to read as a Kindle book. That's the Archimedes engine, Exodus. I don't remember which of those is the main title. By Peter F. Hamilton. Because it sounds so cool and I want to. The text is actually pretty big, but you know, still. It's almost 1,000 pages. 40,000 years ago, humanity fled a dying Earth. Traveling in massive ark ships, these brave pioneers spread out across the galaxy to find a new home. After traveling thousands of light years, one fleet of ark ships arrived at Centauri, a dense cluster of stars with a vast array of potential habitable planets. The survivors of Earth signaled to the remaining ark ships that humanity had finally found a new home among the stars. Thousands of years later, the Centauri cluster has flourished. The original settlers have evolved into advanced beings known as Celestials and divided themselves into powerful dominions. One of the most influential is that of the Crown Celestials, an alliance of 5 great houses that controls vast areas of Centauri. As ark ships continue to arrive, the remaining humans and their descendants must fight for survival against overwhelming odds or be forced into serving the Crown Dominion. So of course, you know, people be peoples, even in the future. I just keep thinking about this book and I want to read this book. I'm in a huge sci-fi mood and I have not been able to pick up a single sci-fi book. I was actually thinking I should have opened Overworth sooner so that I could have read it, because it's like, it's a smallish book, I'll be fine. And then I open it and I see it and it's not that small. Definitely smaller than this, but not that small. Just a moderately smallish book haul stack for the summer/birthday months. If you've read any of these, I would love to know how they worked for you. Love them, middle of the line, didn't like them at all, and if you think they're going to work for me. Fingers crossed I can really start some of these soon and that the series I have done continue to work out. And also fingers crossed that we are getting next week's video out on time, so that way I can see you again next week and that you're going to want to come back also. You know, I really hope you enjoyed this one and that you're finding something great to read today and you'll come back next week.